Hello there. Right, I stopped making videos a few months ago because basically nobody was listening anymore. But some things, yeah, we just have to keep speaking out against. And this nonsense, this COVID nonsense that we're embroiled in now is one of them very, very important situations whereby as many people as possible need to be calling this out. Yeah. Because these people running this world, they think that we are a bunch of idiots. Okay? They must think that we are all idiots. But the problem is, there are many, many idiots out there. Because we are not, I repeat, we are not in the middle of a deadly pandemic, nor have we been at any time this year. Now, I'm sick and tired of hearing people going on about, well, my gran died, and what about tell that to the families of the people who died from COVID. Listen up very clearly, okay? 99% of the people who have died because of or as a result of testing positive for COVID would have died anyway if they had caught a harsh bout of pneumonia, for instance. 99% of them would have died in them circumstances also. Now, the thing with COVID is it's been a complete over exaggeration right from the start. And I've been playing a little game this year, and it's called Spot the Hearse. And up to my last video 2 or 3 months ago, I hadn't seen one coffin bearing hearse in 2020, despite being in the middle of a deadly pandemic and I drive around 9, 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. So I'm going to update you now. And since my last video, I have seen two coffin bearing hearses, and they were both in the last week of September. Where are the bodies? Okay. And surely to God, there isn't still any clown out there who still believes that this virus came from a bat. Surely, tell me there isn't. Because the truth here is this virus was intentionally released. It was released in Wuhan at the back end of 2019. Now, anybody with the brains they were born with can Google and research the Wuhan military games. I'm sick of saying this, but I'm going to say it one more time. The last week of October to the first week of November, the World Military Games took place in Wuhan. 10,000 military personnel from 130 different countries took part. Within a matter of weeks, a virus had spread worldwide. Who do you think the carriers were? This virus was intentionally released to coincide with the fact that it had 10,000 visitors to Wuhan at that time of the year. Now, if it was intentionally released, then just by the nature of that, it is obviously designed. It has been designed. It has been designed to attack elderly people, to attack very elderly people. And also it's been designed to attack critically ill people and people with very life-threatening illnesses already. Because these people, these elderly people who are all pensioners, they don't contribute anymore to the economy. And ill people don't contribute to the economy. So what's the harm if we lose a couple of million of them? In order to attain the real design of this virus, which is to control, to spread fear among the populations of the world, to create panic, and most of all, to create a craving for a vaccine. It's also been designed to control you, to control me, to control our freedoms. Okay? And it's blatantly obvious now, yeah, that this whole thing is simply an agenda. And it has worked a treat. Because now you've got such ridiculous sites all around the world of people just being compliant without cause. I was in B&Q today. I was the only person out of about 120 people in B&Q who wasn't wearing a face mask. One out of 120. Honestly, felt like a farmer in the middle of his field full of sheep. Right? So you get people wearing masks for no reason. You get people walking down the street 50 yards from anybody else wearing masks. People driving around on their own in the car wearing masks. Do they think they're going to catch the virus off themselves? It's absolutely madness. First of all, it was transmitted by touch, so you had to wash your hands every 15 seconds. Okay, then it's transmitted through the air. Okay, but you've still got people walking around with visors, and apparently they're acceptable because an airborne virus can't, do a flip under the visor for some reason. Oh, it's just madness, absolutely madness. They're shutting everybody down. They're sending full classes and full year groups of kids home from school for 2 weeks because one child has tested positive. We don't even know, they don't even know what they're testing for. Oh. Now, the thing is, many people are calling this out now, but they are being shouted down. And people a lot cleverer than I am, scientists, biologists, medical experts, politicians. A guy in Australia actually quit his job as an MP because he could no longer stand the lie. So really it's time for the people now to wake up to the fact that this is an agenda and that the media and the government are complicit in going along with this agenda. And I say going along with it because it isn't their agenda. Because it's time for the people, especially the people in the UK, to realise, that the government do not run this country. The government do as they are told by a higher power. Just like Boris did as he was told when he was told to pretend to have the virus. Even in America now, Donald's managed to capture himself a case of tactical COVID. Now, I don't know what his tactics are. Maybe it's to keep him out of the limelight so he can not talk himself out of the presidency, which I hope he doesn't, because what kind of a world are we going to be in if a man like Joe Biden can become the most powerful person on this planet? It's a scary fucking thought. So the media are compliant in scaremongering. And it's not just the BBC who are the usual suspects in cases like this. It's all the media. Take talk radio, the home of free speech, the radio station that goes against all the norms and rails against the mainstream. It's fucking bullshit. Every one of their presenters, is just leading you a merry dance the same as everybody else's. Anybody who comes on the radio stations with a theory, a conspiracy theory as to how this all happens and what it's all about, is shouted down, is ridiculed, be it on BBC, any of the mainstream channels or talk radio. Okay? They are being told what to say. They're being told what to put out there to you because the media are the mouthpiece of the puppet masters who run this world. I'm sick of saying it, but it's so blatant now that I'm going to say it again. Now, the governments don't rule. I'll give you an example. Priti Patel swanned into the Home Office. She was going to do this about immigration. She was going to do that about immigration. What's she done about immigration? Fuck all. Because no sooner did she come out with all this, someone will have had a quiet word in her ear and say, darling, you ain't doing nothing. These people are coming to this country in their tens of thousands because it's what we want. Lo and behold, what's been happening under the cover of lockdown. So there's just one example of how our headlining, main MPs simply, are doing as they're told. Now, other things surrounding the COVID virus that just don't make any sense at all. You've got this track and trace app, okay? So you download an app before you're allowed to go into a pub and blah, blah, this, that and the other. But I've got a question to all these fucking fools. And do you know what? My 10-year-old came up with this question. If I go and get a COVID test, you can catch COVID anytime, anywhere, according to them all. Okay, if I go and get a COVID test and I walk out of the test centre and within the next 15 minutes I catch COVID, what use is the fucking test? Because I'll get my results the next day and I'll still be walking around as a COVID carrier, but because my test says I'm negative. And we're hearing all about false positives and false negatives and all this bullshit. And the truth is, that's the word. It is all bullshit. Yeah. They are doctoring the figures. They are using the figures to lock people down, to scaremonger. We had the two clowns, Whitty and Valance, come out a couple of weeks ago talking about 50,000 cases a day and 400 deaths a week. And it never came to pass, and it never was going to come to pass. Why have they been allowed to scaremonger like this? Because it's part of the agenda. Oh, they're using this virus as a tool now to shut people down. It's as simple as that. And isn't it funny? I can go to work and work among 30 people. My kids can go to school and walk among 200 people. But they're attacking the pubs. They're attacking the pubs with curfews and shutting down the pubs. Why? Well, it's quite simple, guys. They don't want you sat in a pub. They don't want men sat in a pub. You see, this is all communism by COVID. They want you to get up in the morning and go to work. They want you to pay your tax. They want you to go home in the evening, okay? They don't want you going to a pub talking politics or talking about what they're up to. They want you to sit at home and then go to work again the next day and keep your fucking mouth shut. That's what they want. That's what they want your life to be. It's a life of communism by COVID. And this is what's happening in the UK today, as well as in other Western countries. You know, it's like they don't want you out enjoying yourself. They don't want men talking in about politics, but they don't mind you sitting in a fucking Costa coffee, yeah, sipping fucking cappuccinos or fucking lattes and talking about women's sport. And the sad part is that more and more, that's actually what's happening with the men in this country. It's fucking pathetic, yeah? It's disheartening and it's soul destroying. But that's the agenda. The agenda with this COVID, this lockdown, yeah, is to break your spirit. Fuck you about. We'll lock you down. We'll release you for a few weeks. We'll put you in a tier 2, then you'll be in a tier 1. You can go to the pub, you can't go to the pub. You can go to your friends, you can't go to your friends. You can see your family, you can fucking on and on until eventually you're so fucking fed up, you just say, right, fuck it. Right, I'll just do whatever you want. Breaking your spirit is part of this agenda. Oh dear. Now, I've heard many politicians referring to this as like a war. It's like a war. We're in war. We're at war against COVID. And you know what happens in all wars, yeah? The rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And when this all passes, if it ever indeed does, yeah, people are going to be left destitute, broken-spirited, yeah, bankrupt, yeah, and in poverty. And all for what? All for protecting people from an illness that's going to turn out no more deadly than a seasonal flu or pneumonia. Simple as it's all been exaggerated and the figures have all been doctored, yeah, in order to fulfill the agenda. You know, and the thing is, it's all been enabled by the indoctrinated sheep, by the people who've allowed themselves, yeah, to become so compliant they believe everything they're told by the media and by the governments. You know? Because this has been planned. This has been planned for years and years. And they've decided, and I believe this 100%, 2020 is the year they were going to attack. They were going to attack the world populations. They were going to attack our freedoms. Okay? And now that they've decided to attack and they've took the first shots, they are not going to let up. Okay? They are not going to just see to 2020 out and let things go back to normal. They want what the sheep are going around and calling, it's the new normal. It's the new normal. Hands, face, space. You fucking set of indoctrinated, fucking compliant wankers. Because of people like you, people with a modicum of fucking common sense are going to be fighting this battle for years to come. It's absolutely soul destroying, yeah, what's happening in this world today. It's frightening, yeah, how brainwashed, yeah, people have allowed themselves to become, you know. And it's scary to see how the fight has been drained from so many people, you know. You think the men of the 50s and the 60s and the 70s, yeah, would have stood for this nonsense, this absolute fucking nonsense. Not a chance, you know. But is it too late? Are we fucked? Is it too late? Are we doomed? Are we now looking at a future of basically control and compliance, you know? Hopefully not, but now's the time. It really is time for people to stand up for their rights, to stand up for their freedoms. Okay? There's a virus there. It can kill people. So can pneumonia. So can the flu. Okay? Yeah? You're telling me we can't just live a normal life through a virus such as the one we're living through now. You know? But where it all starts, and this is the hard part, it starts by getting people to snap out of this hypnosis, because this is what it is. The people have been hypnotized into believing that danger now lurks behind every handshake, behind every cuddle, behind every hug. And it simply is a lie. Until next time, guys, feel free to like, share, subscribe. Bye for now.